So right now we'll get started and welcome the leader of one of the greenest institutions in Pittsburgh, Dr. Paul Hennigan from Point Park University. Welcome to the show, Dr. Hennigan.
Thank you, John. Good to be here.
You have an interesting background. We were talking about how you became the president of a university, and 10 years ago that was not in the plans.
Not at all. 10 years ago I was the chief financial officer for the city of Pittsburgh working for Mayor Murphy. And from there I went to become the vice president for finance and operations at Point Park University. And while I was there I got my doctorate, and then when my predecessor retired, had the opportunity to become president.
Very impressive. And I'm assuming as you were spending time working with the city of Pittsburgh, you got to see a lot of the inner workings of some real estate downtown, and that kind of set in motion the plans for the future of Point Park University. Let's talk about how you have expanded over the past 10 years. You told me from 2,000 to 4,000 students?
Right. About 10 years ago, Point Park had 2,000 students. It was Point Park College, and we had projected out some growth rates for the university when it became a university, and it was clear to us that we would probably double in size, and we did not have near the facility that we needed. And so we identified what we thought would be the facilities that we would need, and then the buildings in the neighborhood, and we began to acquire those. And over 5-6 years now, we have 18 properties in downtown Pittsburgh, and that led us to create the vision for the academic village at Point Park University in downtown Pittsburgh.
18 buildings currently. How many did you have 10 years ago?
5.
Substantial growth.
Right.
And if somebody hasn't been on that corridor of Boulevard of the Allies and Wood Street, the growth has been astronomical with refurbishing old buildings and building brand new facilities too.
That's right. And we also have 6 residence halls where we're housing close to 1,000 students in downtown Pittsburgh.
Tell us about some of the undertakings with buying some of the older buildings first. How did you convert them into to newer, updated, modern buildings that are green, and then we want to get to the new green buildings too?
Well, actually, the first strategic piece of property we bought was not a building, it was a gas station. It was the lot at the corner of Wood and the Boulevard of the Allies. And it was no longer being used as a gas station, so it was a surface parking lot, but it still had the gas tanks underneath the surface. And so when we bought the property, we had to do a little bit of remediation on the soil, remove the gas tanks, and we wondered for a long time what we'd do with that piece of property, and we've now decided that it will become a beautiful urban green space, a park that we'd like to have under construction this spring. So you talk about the greening of downtown Pittsburgh and the greening of Point Park, that'll be a perfect example of taking what was formerly a gas station and converting it into a very nice green space. We've made a commitment to be LEED certified in all of our renovations and our new construction as well. And we just built a new building, a state-of-the-art dance studio building that is second to none in the eastern half of the country as far as academic dance studio space. And we were just recognized with gold LEED certification, the highest level of certification.
Explain, we've talked on the show about LEED. Exactly what is LEED and how can they come in and determine what is this level of green or the highest level of green?
Well, LEED is an acronym. It's L-E-E-D, Leadership in Energy Efficiency Design, and it's promulgated by the Green Building Alliance. And so it's this national organization that put forth these standards for new construction, and it's all about building buildings that are energy efficient and environmentally sensitive. And it starts with the creation of the site. The site for our dance studio building had 3 older buildings on it, and so rather than just knocking down those buildings and taking away the debris and putting it into into some fill somewhere or a landfill, we were able to recycle a lot of those building materials, the bricks, the glass, and so it's demolishing buildings now and reusing some of that material. And then you hire architects that know exactly what they're doing in terms of natural light, efficiency in heating systems and cooling systems, and the materials that are actually used in the building. By using a lot of recycled materials, you can increase your LEED certification. And as a result of what we've been able to do throughout that whole building process, we achieved the gold standard.
So a lot of businesses or buildings can claim that they are green, but LEED will certify that they are actually green to a specific level.
That's exactly right.
When you started working on this brand new facility, and it's the dance Academy?
Dance studio building.
Dance studio building. It was designed specifically to be green with all of these goals in mind from the start.
From the very start. We had made our commitment to environmental sustainability long before we had built the building.
Give us some examples of some of the things that are in the building that are green that maybe the average person wouldn't think, that you can either reuse, recycle, or you can build something out of something else and make it green.
Well, the flooring, the wood flooring is recycled products in the wood fabric that makes up the sprung floors in that building, as well as a lot of the lighting fixtures and the wiring that's used in the building as well.
So it's just from day number one, from the way it's planned to the way it functions for the entire life of the building, it's specifically green and it's certified green.
That's correct.
What kind of things are on tap for Point Park in the future? I know that you're still buying a lot of property, and the YMCA is going to be part of your campus?
It is. We now own the YMCA building on the Boulevard of the Allies. They're still there as a tenant, but they'll be leaving next year. And we will transform that building into a student center for our students. We will also construct a new convocation center next to that building and connect it to the Y. So when you look at the Y right now, it's a building that doesn't have many windows in it. And our commitment to LEED certification for a renovated building will be to add a lot of windows so that you let a lot of fresh sunlight in. We will also replace the boilers and chillers in that building, the heating and the air conditioning, with more energy efficient products that will help to recycle the air and the water that's going through the building in a way that is much more energy efficient.
You had a very simple way to start your vision. You said you sat down with a map of downtown Pittsburgh and started plotting.
That's right. Well, we knew we needed to grow, and we wanted to have as much density in that neighborhood as possible. And it just so happened that there were lots of real estate opportunities available in the neighborhood. And so we identified all the buildings and looked through them to see what their square footage was, when they were built, how environmentally friendly they were, and we identified the buildings that we wanted to acquire and the properties that we wanted to acquire. We did that about 5 years ago, and I'm happy to say that we only have one more piece of property to acquire in our master plan.
So once that is achieved, will there be phase 2 where you plan on expanding, or will this be it for a while for Point Park University?
Well, I don't know. In terms of phases, I think right now we're probably on phase 4 already, so we've got 5, 6, 7, and 8 coming along. We've got the streetscape we'll be doing along Wood. We have the park at the corner of Wood and the Boulevard. We have our student center, and then the capstone project will be the Pittsburgh Playhouse, which will be new construction.
Now, what is that?
Well, we own and operate the Pittsburgh Playhouse in Oakland, where we do 18 main stage productions a year for our nationally recognized theater program. The Playhouse has far outlived its useful life, and there's not much hope of renovating that building. So we're going to build new in downtown Pittsburgh between 4th and Forbes and Wood and Smithfield Street. We've assembled an acre of property there, and we will build the Playhouse as an addition to an existing building, and it will be LEED certified as well, perhaps gold, that would be nice. And there we'll have 3 theaters, and that will be home to our theater arts program.
I think it's fascinating working downtown that area is going to be one of the hot spots of the revitalized downtown area in Pittsburgh.
It will be. There's no doubt about it. When you walk along Wood Street in that area right now, it kind of looks like a rotting core. But with what the Piatts are doing, with what PNC's doing, the revitalization of Market Square, the heart of Pittsburgh will come back to life.
It will, and if you haven't been there in a long time, it's worth walking or driving through to see how it's growing. Real quick before we wrap, how about education at Point Park for future students who want to learn more about being green?
Well, we just started a new environmental studies program, a master's degree in environmental studies, and we've already got over a dozen students. The program just started this year, and that program is designed for graduate students who want to learn to be managers in the field of environmental studies. And so anytime you need to build a highway or build a building, any kind of construction project, they always want environmental engineers involved in that, because if you're moving dirt or you're demolishing a building. And so this program is aimed at training master's level students how to be managers in the field of environmental studies working in construction projects.
And this is year 1, so this is just the beginning.
It is.
It can only go up. We'll look forward to more big things. Thanks again, Dr. Hennigan. If you'd like to know more about Point Park University, you can call them at 412-391-4100 or log on to their website at pointpark.edu.